It started with a simple knock. Not the kind you expect from a neighbor or a friend, but a slow, deliberate tapping that seemed almost too quiet to matter. Looking back, I still believe that if I had ignored that sound, nothing else would have happened. But curiosity has a strange way of overpowering fear, especially when you're only 12 years old. That Friday night seemed completely ordinary. My older sister, Danielle, was 13, and our parents had gone out for the evening, leaving the two of us home alone. We lived in an average-sized house where every sound traveled. Someone talking in the downstairs den could be heard from the upstairs bedrooms without even trying. It wasn't a large place, and because of that, unusual noises never went unnoticed. Danielle was in her bedroom, doing her own thing while I stayed in mine, passing the time without paying much attention to the silence around us. Outside, darkness had settled over the neighborhood. The backyard was nothing but a black wall beyond the windows. Then I heard it. Tap, tap, tap. The sound drifted up from downstairs. At first I assumed Danielle had gone into the den and was making noise near the back door. It didn't seem important enough to call out, so I headed downstairs to see what she wanted. The den was dimly lit, and beyond the sliding glass door the backyard was almost impossible to see. I reached over and switched on the outside light. The instant the porch illuminated, I froze. Standing only a few feet away was a man I'd never seen before. He looked to be somewhere in his 40s, around 6'1", with long dark hair streaked with gray. His cheeks were flushed red as though he'd been outside for a long time. He wasn't smiling, but he wasn't openly threatening either. Instead, he stared directly at me with an expression that almost looked desperate. That was what confused me the most. He didn't look angry. He looked like someone asking for help. For one brief moment, that made me hesitate. Instead of running, I carefully slid open the small window section of the back door, just enough for us to speak. The cool night air slipped inside. The man leaned closer. "I need to use your phone," he said. His voice was calm, almost pleading. I immediately asked why he was in our backyard and what had happened. Any normal person would have answered those questions first. He didn't. Instead, he ignored everything I said. "Please," he repeated, "just let me inside." Something about the way he said it instantly erased whatever sympathy I'd felt. He wasn't interested in explaining himself. He only cared about getting into the house. I shook my head. "I'm sorry," I told him. "You need to leave. If you don't, I'm calling the police." As I started sliding the window shut, everything changed. Without warning, he shoved his arm through the opening before it could close. His hand reached inside the house. He wasn't trying to grab me. He was reaching for the door lock. My heart slammed into my chest. I stumbled backward and screamed Danielle's name as loudly as I could. The moment he heard my voice echo through the house, he quickly pulled his arm back. I didn't wait another second. I sprinted upstairs 2 steps at a time. Halfway up the staircase, Danielle met me, already alarmed by my shouting. We carefully looked toward the den from the upstairs landing, and there he was, still standing outside, still watching the house. Danielle grabbed the phone and called our parents. They immediately told us not to go downstairs again, to call the police, and to stay where we were until officers arrived. We did exactly that. For several minutes, everything became unnaturally quiet. No more tapping, no voices, no footsteps, only silence. The kind of silence that somehow feels louder than noise. Eventually, I started convincing myself that he'd finally left. I was only 12. At that age, bravery and bad decisions often look exactly the same. Against every bit of common sense, I decided to go downstairs by myself. The den looked exactly as I'd left it. The backyard appeared empty. The man was gone. I let out a slow breath I didn't even realize I'd been holding. Then something caught my attention. The small window in the back door was lower than before. I stopped walking. I clearly remembered trying to close it after speaking to the stranger. Then another thought hit me. No, I never actually finished closing it. His arm had stopped it. That meant someone else had lowered it afterward. A cold feeling spread through my stomach. I slowly stepped closer to the door. That's when I noticed something even worse. The office door beside the den was open. Earlier that evening, I was almost certain it had been closed. Now it sat partially open, revealing only darkness inside. Every instinct told me not to look. The room was pitch black, and from where I stood, I couldn't see a single detail beyond the doorway. I should have run upstairs immediately. Instead, curiosity got the better of me again. I pulled out my phone. My hands were shaking so badly that it took 2 tries to open the camera. I switched on the flash. If someone was inside, I figured the light would at least let me see. I pointed the phone toward the office and pressed the shutter. For a split second, the flash exploded across the room like lightning. Everything became visible. The desk, the chair, the shelves, and someone standing behind them. The same man. He wasn't outside anymore. He was inside our house. He was hunched over my father's office desk. The instant the flash illuminated the room, his head snapped toward me. His eyes locked onto mine. That single frozen image burned itself into my memory forever. Even now, I can still picture exactly how he looked when he realized I'd found him. My body reacted before my mind could. I didn't stop to see whether he was moving. I didn't wait to find out what he planned to do. Every survival instinct took over at once. I turned and ran. My footsteps pounded through the den as loudly as I had ever heard them. Behind me, I had the terrifying feeling that he was charging after me, even though I never looked back to confirm it. The staircase suddenly felt twice as long. I raced up every step, nearly slipping in my panic before reaching the top. As soon as I got there, I slammed the den door shut and locked it with shaking hands. For one brief second, everything was silent again. Then, tap, tap, tap. The exact same slow tapping returned. Only now it wasn't coming from the backyard. It was coming from the opposite side of the locked den door. The sound was so gentle it somehow felt even more frightening. Then came his voice. Soft, calm, almost polite. Open the door. He kept begging. Not yelling, not threatening. Just repeatedly asking me to let him in, as though none of what had already happened mattered. I shouted for Danielle again. She rushed toward me, frightened by the sound of my voice. Neither of us knew how much time had passed since calling the police. It felt like forever. I knew we couldn't keep listening to him forever either. Out of pure desperation, I yelled through the door. The cops are here. It was a complete bluff. There weren't any flashing lights outside. No sirens. No officers. Just hoped that he'd believe me. For several long seconds, nothing happened. Then the tapping stopped. The silence returned. A moment later, we heard another sound. The back door opened. Then it closed. He was leaving. Neither Danielle nor I moved. We stayed exactly where we were, barely breathing, listening for any sign that he might still be somewhere inside the house. Every tiny noise made us flinch. The house settled with quiet creaks. The air conditioner hummed. Outside, the night remained completely still, but the man never spoke again. The minutes that followed felt impossibly long. We kept staring toward the staircase, expecting him to suddenly reappear, convinced that the next sound would be footsteps coming back toward us. Instead, 5 more minutes crawled by. Only then did we finally hear the sound we'd been waiting for. Police officers had arrived. When they searched the property, the man was gone. There was no sign of where he'd disappeared into the darkness. For years, I wondered whether shouting that the police had arrived had been a mistake. If I had stayed quiet, maybe officers would have caught him while he was still inside or somewhere near the house. Maybe he would have been identified. Maybe he would have been arrested. Maybe no other family would ever have to experience what we did. But there's another possibility that's impossible to ignore. If I hadn't yelled those words, if he hadn't believed me, if he'd decided to come upstairs instead of running, the police wouldn't arrive for another 5 full minutes. 5 minutes is an incredibly long time when you're trapped inside a house with a stranger who's already forced his way in. To this day, I still don't know why he chose our home, how long he'd been watching us, or what he intended to do once he got inside. Those questions have never been answered. What I do know is this: the image of that camera flash revealing him inside the dark office, his face turning toward me, and that quiet tapping on the door afterward. Those memories have stayed with me far longer than the stranger himself. Some sounds disappear the moment they